our third lady of the afternoon. Uh, it's time for Caroline from France, living in Austria. And I think that relates also to the topic, neither here nor there.
Yes, it
Caro,
does. Can you
are you
hear
ready?
me? Hello. Oh, hi everyone. Well, I'm not nervous at all. It's not hard at all to come after Isaac legends like Stuti and Bea. I'm so happy to be with you here today. Hey, people cheering. So I'm gonna share my very, let's say, minimalistic presentation. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Cool. Okay, so my name's Caroline Chevillotte. I know no one wants to pronounce my name. It's a bit hard. I get a lot of posts with Chevrolet. Yeah, so it was a tough year for everyone, I guess. Tough year for me too, but also a beautiful year of reflecting, of thinking, especially when we were forced to stay home. I got to think all my life about identity, but this year even more. Like, okay, you're supposed to stay home. Where the fuck is home, you know? I've been thinking of my all my life. So I'm thinking, is home where I would like to have my next lockdown? Is home a house? Is it a childhood memory? I moved almost 15 times in my life to different countries, traveled to many countries too, also thanks to Isaac. If not for the lockdown, I would have traveled to maybe two, three more this year. Um, I realize home is not made of stone for me anymore. It's not just where the Wi Fi turns on automatically or where I pay my taxes. Um, what is my identity and where is home is the big question that I had. So I was born in France, as Chris said, spent half of my life there. My family and I moved a lot within France already. So from region to region, I was pretty fast at taking new regional accents and blending in, but still part of me was still left where my other friends were in the other little villages. And it's not easy to start a new life in a new place all over again, you know? And it felt like starting from scratch every time. Then we moved to Austria with my family. I was 14 and I didn't speak a word of, I thought I spoke German, you know, I had German in France for a bit. I and then I went to the bakery and couldn't even buy a pretzel, you know, with the German that I had, and I couldn't speak any word of English. So new life starting. Now I speak the dialect that I used to hate. Still, if I wanted to participate in Who Wants to Be a Millionaire in Austria, I would lose in the first round because I don't know any children's songs or any questions. Any of the first questions. So, am I French? Am I Austrian? Am I both? Or am I none of it? And adding to that, my grandma's from Vietnam. This summer was funny. We could go to Carinthia, and you could see everyone turning around saying, "I thought the Chinese couldn't come because of the lockdown." You know, everyone thought my grandma was the only Chinese tourist in Austria. I went to Russia many, many times, and I did all my internship there. And I think the Red Square is one of the most beautiful places in the world. So am I a bit Russian? All my English teachers were Scots. You can't hear it anymore. I used to have a Scottish accent, and also I love whiskey, so I'm a bit Scottish. I lost the Scottish accent when my parents moved to America, to Georgia, because as I mentioned, I was good at taking accents everywhere I go, so I lost my beautiful Scottish accent for a like more redneck one, which I don't like every day, but that's how it is. So am I a bit American too? Because I spent so much time there. Nothing cheers me up like Latino music, and I have so many friends from South America or Latin America. Am I a bit Latino? Yeah. So can I be a piece of everywhere I've been and take the best uh, of the things I found in every culture? Was is a question I ask myself a lot. On paper, you have to choose. So my passport is still French. Some people think I'm already Austrian, but I mean, it wouldn't bring me much because I can live here, I can be in Austria. But on paper, you have to choose. You have to have a nation, and you kind of represent that nation, whether you want it or not. Um, and people, I feel people think they know so much about you even before they meet you. So when you're French, you're an arrogant asshole and you suck at languages. So nothing I'll ever do or say or how many language I can learn, it will never stop people's stereotypes. And if you don't match what they think they know, then they'll see you as an exception. So you build your identity all your life, and you want people to validate it. Wait, so maybe I need to change the slide too. I need people to validate your identity, and sometimes you want to be different, and sometimes you want to blend in. Uh, so in my youth, I was trying to prove that I'm still French by being even more French, or prove that I'm Austrian by buying a dirndl, like the dress that you can see at Oktoberfest, and eating schnitzel and speaking dialect. Um, and yeah, did I learn so many languages so that people would leave me alone? And I don't know. Sometimes I have to think for 10 minutes to find words in my own mother tongue. Like the other day, we were there with my French friend, and we couldn't find the name for door handle in French. We had to Google it. So about 10 years ago, or 12, a teacher at university told us, so my French friend and I, that we didn't speak French like French people. And she's been in Austria for 30 years, and my German wasn't that good at that time. And this, what she said, kind of really broke. I don't know if it broke my heart, but it made me feel like this, like I'm not French and I'm not Austrian yet, and here I am, too foreign for home, too foreign for Austria, too foreign for France, and so not good enough for any place that I'm at. It felt like it ripped a part of my identity, 20-year-old me or 18-year-old me didn't know who she was anymore, and I felt like the forgotten child of Europe, the one who doesn't know which embassy to call, which embassy is responsible for you, like none of them. Because people don't see European as a thing. It's not a nationality. It's written on your passport, but it doesn't give you any protection or any rights. And back then, I thought identity was linked with language, food, and clothes. And back then, I thought my identity was linked to my passport and my nationality, because that's how the world is organized, with states and nations, and with nations come borders, and it dictates who can go where and where you can live or not. And yeah, so I'm perfectly legally in Austria. I have the right to be here, and nations are supposed to carry ideas and common laws and common values. And I've been asking myself, okay, we want to protect our nation from other evil people and their influence. And I was thinking, what do the great nations of the world want to protect right now? So you see, we want to protect freedom of speech. And when you see that, Julian Assange, he was not extradited to the US, but not because we want to protect freedom of speech or freedom of the press, because he was suicidal. That's why they didn't send him there. Do we want to protect decency and democracy? And when you see a guy with a bull's hat sitting in the Capitol, think, okay, maybe there's another way to do that. Do we want to protect transparency? Uh, Last year we had the Ibiza scandal in Austria, and the chancellor was asked to send all his private messages, and he said he's deleting his text every week like a normal person. Everyone deletes their WhatsApp messages every week. Do we want to protect brotherhood and sisterhood? When you see pictures of Black Friday, like people are ripping each other's throats to buy boots. Do we want to protect family? My grandma right now, she's in a retirement home in France and no one's allowed to visit her. And so she's dying alone. And I think she'd rather have COVID than die alone. And do we want to protect freedom of movement? So this summer I could go and visit my grandparents in France, and then I was scared they wouldn't let me through the boundary back to Austria. That's where my flat is. So I have to come back here. Uh, so then I thought, what do the nations want to protect, and what do I want to protect? What is important to me? What makes my heart burn when I see or hear about it? And uh, my heart burns when I hear injustice, and sometimes I'm ashamed of what's happening in the countries that are supposed to be my home. Am I responsible for French or Austrian politics, or am I responsible for not changing it, not talking about it? Do I have to, when you have terrorist attacks, you always demand that the Muslims desolidarize themselves from the events. Do I have to desolidarize myself from things that are happening in countries that I love? Yes, my heart burns when I hear injustice, unfairness, and when hate against people who are not from the same place as you. And identifying what my heart burns for helped me also identify what I want to fight for. So it's equity and fairness, and seeing the world as one place, not as 193 countries, seeing people, not as women, not as men, not as foreigners, just as people. And yeah, I'm so lucky. I have a wonderful family. Grew up in a peaceful place. Got free education, and I feel the need to give back a bit of the luck I got in my life, and help people feel home wherever they are. Um, make the place they call home a better place. Help them use what makes their heart burn and turn it into something positive. So it took me some time to realize that home and nations are a construct that didn't exist a few centuries ago. For me, home is neither France nor Austria. I think you can build your surroundings in something you want. Home is where you decided to be. So it's with my family. You can see my brother here. With friends, it's the wine country of Burgundy, where I'm from, the hill in the city center of Graz, where I live, the Red Square, the dancing salsa on the beach, playing computer online with my brother who lives 1,000 kilometers away. Home is where I have a peace of mind, where you meet people you love. It's a friend carrying you through tough times. It's where people don't make you feel like you have to explain or justify yourself. Um, Home is also it, the next ISIC conference, I would say. The people you surround yourself with, who you like spending time with, and home is doing what you love, I think. So now I can tell the teacher who thinks I don't speak French like a French that I couldn't care less. And if I sound like a Swiss or a Belgian or whatever, I'm happy as well. And instead of speaking one language perfectly, like she pretended to, which honestly can never happen, I think, I choose to be vulnerable and speak, well, a lot of languages instead, and sound weird and make mistakes. But yeah, my place is full of Russian dolls. You can see maybe some in the back. There's always South American music playing, and my favorite winter shoes are cowboy boots from Tennessee. And I don't make sense. My look doesn't make sense, and I lost the need to. I lost the need to make sense, and I learned to stop making my identity dependent on other people's validation. Home is doing what I love every day when no one's looking. And I think, yeah, most important thing that I learned this year is you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Sometimes I feel like a migrant. Sometimes I feel international. Sometimes I use it to my advantage because it's cool to come from somewhere else and people are interested. Um, you can be home nowhere or you can be home everywhere. And yeah, my question to you guys, what, where, or who is home for you? And who are you when no one's looking? And what do you want to protect? And what makes your heart burn?